And who could forget those tense protests in cities where the feds unloaded buses filled with illegals? Well, today, one city is taking matters into their own hands. They've got a different plan that might just work. Details coming up next, live from New York City and Houston and all around the world.
14 now.
We have seen chaos break out in towns like Murrieta, California here when the feds tried to drop hundreds of illegal children and their mothers in typically quiet small towns at processing stations. And the government showing no signs of stopping. But one Houston, Texas suburb, League City, putting its foot down, they passed a law that would ban any facility from processing illegals, including children. League City, Texas Councilwoman Heidi Thiess wrote the measure and joins us live from Houston on this Friday morning. Heidi, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve.
Okay, tell us what your law does.
Well, it's actually a resolution, and it does three things. It lays out the problem as we see it from start to finish, and then it calls for two courses of action. It does not allow our local departments and agencies to assist the federal government in establishing a detention center or holding center for illegal aliens. And number two, it calls on our state government to act, and to act with urgency on a number of different topics, including illegal traffic, human trafficking, human smuggling, and other such things.
Sure. You've been watching the headlines. You didn't like what you saw out of Southern California. You don't like the fact that in not too far away from you, in Dallas, Texas, they're about to dump 2,000 children into a facility there. You don't want that happening in your town, do you?
No, and what's happening is the federal government is going straight to the localities. They're not discussing this with county or city officials, and people are not finding out about it until after it's happened. And then they're informed, and then they have to react. And I didn't want that to happen. I needed to be more proactive than that.
Well, what if, Heidi, the federal government came to you and said, you know, you've seen these pictures of these children. They're already in the United States. You know, they're up crying for their moms all night long. We've got to do something with it. How about if we have them come into your town?
Well, I am going to agree with Congressman Salmon right now, who is drafting a bill that would reunite the children with their families back in their home of origin.
One of your concerns is for people in your town. You're worried about the health of the people who are coming into this country illegally, and you're worried about safety as well.
Right. It's a resolution to protect the health, safety, and security of the people in our town. We have a number of our residents are concerned about school. Enrollment is right around the corner.
Sure.
We're concerned about the secrecy that is shrouding the camps right now, where we really don't know what's happening, except reports are coming out now that mental and health screenings are insufficient.
Right.
They're not being properly treated, and furthermore, we're worried about the security because the identities of the people coming in are not yet established, and their locations and their disbursement across the country is not being tracked either.
Before you go, you just touched on something that I would love to talk to somebody at the local level about, and you mentioned schools. In the fall, when it's time for kids to go back into schools, if these illegals are supposed to be absorbed into a community, let's say they're in League City, Texas, who would be on the hook to pay for the schooling? Because generally school is paid for by local taxpayers and not the federal government.
It is. That would lay on the backs of the homeowners of Texas.
And that would mean the
Our property taxes are very high, yes.
And would they have to go up higher to pay for that?
They would indeed.
All right, interesting stuff. Joining us from Houston, she is a city councilwoman from League City, Texas. Heidi, thank you very much for joining us live today.
Thank you so much, Steve.
All right. All right.